Hey everybody, my name is Gerrid Smith. I've been in the SEO industry for a little over 20 years now, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I use PressWiz to get both a mention in ChatGPT, but also completely dominate a local niche in Google. And I actually have a really great example today that I'm going to be able to work on for you guys because it's my mother-in-law. So my mother-in-law is starting a pet sitting business. It doesn't matter, no matter what kind of company you have, or if you're a doctor, a lawyer, if you have a plumbing company or e-commerce brand, everything I share today is going to be very useful. In fact, this is what I use for my own companies, but I just happen to have a brand that would be okay if I shared it publicly. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So you're going to need to create an account at PressWiz. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to show you what the goal is going to be for this. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be creating a couple listicles. I'll be doing probably 2 or 3 listicles. The business that I'm promoting is Leslie's Pet Sitters of Sarasota, Bradenton, and Venice. We've got all of their cities in there to improve their rankings for these 3 kind of surrounding cities here. I'm going to be focusing on the Facebook page. Historically, I'm seeing Facebook pages rank better in Google than Instagram pages. We're doing some, kind of low quality links in the Instagram page to see if that pops. You can see a little LinkedIn page that I put together 2 months ago when she was thinking about starting her business. But she started this about a month ago, probably now. So I got this up. This currently ranks on the 2nd page of Google, but I'm going to show you kind of what the goal is. So let's go ahead and do that now. Pet Sitters, Sarasota. This is one of the top keywords. Okay, so this actually shows the LinkedIn post ranking #1 right now. But you're going to notice there's a lot of local directories, and this is pretty typical for a lot of local keywords. Is you're going to see a lot of different kinds of directories ranking, and they're easy to overcome with the right strategy. So Google likes these listicles. ChatGPT loves listicles. And if you create I found in my experience about 3 listicles is a sweet spot to getting that brand mention in ChatGPT within about 90 days. Now you have to be doing other things well too, but if you have these listicles and then you have the on-page elements required, you can rank in about 90 days. Now, the on-page stuff, I'm not going to go into that too deep right now, but what you really need to do is list about 7 reasons, could be 7 reasons why customers should choose you, okay? You need to brag a little bit about your business. If I was talking to an audiologist yesterday, and she's like, we served, thousands of customers this year. I'm like, you need to put the exact number on each of your city pages. Like, in this particular city, we served 1,349 customers. In this particular city, we served, 1,589 customers, however many it is. List a total of 5 reasons, 7 reasons why somebody should choose you. But if you are a high volume business, you should mention how many customers you've served last year, because ChatGPT, that's a really big part of their algorithm. They're looking for businesses that are able to serve a lot of customers successfully. So if you have a 5-star, maybe 5 stars is a little aggressive, if you have 4.8, 4.7 plus star rating on Google, and you're serving 1,000 customers, could be 500. Again, every niche is different. Look at pet sitters. There's nobody serving thousands of customers every year in the pet sitting niche unless they're a national brand. But a local pet sitter, maybe they've served, 50 customers over the last year. That would be, if you reference that on your site and nobody else has any reference point in your competitor circle, then you'll probably win. Because again, ChatGPT is like, okay, who's the top business? And if nobody is bragging about their business and what they're doing and the awards they've won and how many customers they've served, how many years they've been in business, etc., it's just hard for them to decipher who the real authority is, who's the authority brand. Okay, so my goal is going to be to take up 2, 3, 4 spots with listicles on the 1st page of Google for this particular keyword. On top of that, all of these listicles are going to be linking back to my mother-in-law's Facebook page. So over time, because that Facebook page is brand new, it's probably not ranking on the first couple pages. But over time, if you have 2, 3 pages on the first page or 2 of Google that link to you, you're going to automatically go up to the #1 spot, right? One of the things that I think about in very competitive niches, and I've been in extraordinarily competitive niches over the years, is your goal is to have more of the top 100 ranked websites linking to you than any of your competitors. So listicles would be one strategy. And in most niches, you're not going to get, most competitive niches, I'll say, you're not going to get a listicle necessarily into the top 10 results without a lot of effort, without probably building a bunch of guest posts into it. I'm going to show you today how, again, in most local niches, even with some competition, you're going to be able to get these listicles on the first page of Google. So this is really valuable. This is something we do for our clients. This is something, again, I do for my own brands. And let's go ahead and dive in. So first things first, you create the account, you're going to go to Marketplace, and then you're going to see all these filters. You want to use these filters to find websites that are valuable to your niche. Okay. So country, we're going to go down here to the US. Language, you're going to go down here to, a little overexcited there for that. And then I was so surprised when I saw the pets and animals. I was like, okay, I've got to create a video for this. I had no idea that they had a category for pets and animals, but they do. So they've got 108 total opportunities. What I like to do first and foremost is you're going to come over here to the traffic button, and you're going to click down. And this is going to rank order every website in this category, which we've got US, English, and pets and animals by traffic. So I'm just going to visit a couple of these real quick, make sure they look like legitimate websites, and then we're going to get to work creating these listicles. The other thing I want to point out is you've got the pricing over here. So in some scenarios, especially since I'm doing this out of pocket for a client that is not paying me and will never know that realistically I'm actually putting this together for her, I'll probably want to go on the lower side for these links as long as it makes sense. So aquarium source, not the most relevant. A vet website, that's like probably awesome, right? Really, really good. High DR, a lot of traffic. I'm sorry, traffic's right here, 128,000. Like that's phenomenal. So let's go ahead and click on a couple of these. And I want to show you just if there's anything that kind of comes to my mind as I'm looking at these so that you can just kind of, again, understand from somebody who's been doing this for a little while what I look at. And then what was the other cheaper one down here? French Bulldogs. That feels a little too niche. Canine Magazine, that sounds phenomenal. I want that. I want kind of national sounding sites, right? All right, Canine Magazine. This legitimately looks like a magazine. I love it. I'm hoping that everything is still showing on your end. Vet Help Direct also looks awesome. Talking about a lot of different sites. The French Bulldog, we're going to pass on that one. And Animalia, cool. This looks like a great one. This was the #1 website on the list. Great tool that I highly recommend is this SimilarWeb. If you get any sites where you're like, I'm not sure if this is kind of a US-based website or not, and this is truly a worldwide website. So let me just shut down Slack here. This is just a really helpful tool for getting a quick snapshot, confirming that they're getting a lot of traffic, and they are, but also checking the source of the traffic. I've noticed, especially on PressWiz, that even if a site says, it's a US website or whatever, like that just means in some scenarios that they're just getting some traffic from the US. It doesn't mean that it's the #1 source. Assuming everybody that's watching this is in the US or wherever you're searching from, you want to pick websites that are getting the most traffic in your market. So this is actually okay. I would prefer that the site get 80% of the traffic from the US, but this is truly like a global website. I actually think that's kind of cool and might be helpful in other ways. So US, again, #1. So you want to just make sure your market is #1. Canine Magazine, I'm not even going to check that. We're going to keep the ball rolling here for everybody's time. So Animalia, we're going to go with them first. That's 532. We'll make that work for the mother-in-law. Vet Help Direct 266. Awesome. Even better. Canine Magazine 231. I love it. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So writing of an article is not included in the offer. That's pretty prototypical, I would say. Linking to other websites is not allowed. Totally fine. We're only linking to our client's website. You want to make sure, like this is I would say the biggest one. Articles not tagged as a sponsored partner, external article. If it is tagged as a sponsored article, it can still rank as a listicle, but historically it's just not as good. So that's why they actually have that as a section. So I don't want to say don't do it. I've seen plenty of sponsored articles rank in my days, but let's just say it's not like you don't get bonus points for it. I really don't care about the do follow, no follow links as it relates to these listicles, but the fact that it is do follow is a bonus in my book. But I wouldn't, like if I found the perfect website for a listicle in my niche, but it was a no follow link, I would still do the listicle. Hands down. Okay. They allow anything. That's fine. One link to the advertiser site. Perfect. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add this to cart. We're going to drop in the target URL, which in this case is this link. The anchor is going to be, I really want it to be the actual brand name. Okay. Now, In a perfect world, if I had a lot of time, I would just create my own content myself. All these guys are doing are creating their content with AI, with ChatGPT or Claude. You can see they charge $50 for 1,000 words. That's definitely not a good deal, especially when this takes about 15 minutes to do with, an AI tool. However, for the sake of time, I'm just going to have them write it. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. All right, pet sitters in Sarasota. This is really going to be our target for this particular campaign. I might do it for one other market, but for now, let's just focus on Sarasota. All right, so the other thing that you're going to want to do, I'm not a huge fan of this tier 2 boosting. You have to do some sort of tier 2 boosting. Their particular service is, I would say, just okay. And I'm going to show you another service that you can use that I think is actually a little bit better. I'm going to do both services for one of these articles, but I'm going to show you the other one that I really like to use. So this is Legit. At least that's how I think you pronounce this site. Here's the particular service. So what I like about it is it's a variety of different kinds of links, and then they're building another tier of links under it. So you essentially have 3 tiers of links. You have your website, then you have the links that they're going to build to your website, and then you have another tier under that just to make sure that all of these tiers are indexed. That's the most important thing when you're building links, especially something like this, is you want to make sure that these links that you're building into your links, your tier 2 links, get indexed in Google. Otherwise, they're worthless. Okay. So we're going to basically do a 3-tier service here, $60. You only need the basic service, but they're going to build a smattering of links, 150 links. Not all of these are going to get indexed. We always run all these links through a link indexer, but if you got, even some of them indexed, that's great. The most important thing when you're doing these tier 2, tier 3 links is just to use your brand anchors, right? The goal is really just to make sure all of this stuff gets indexed. You're not really trying to do anything special with this. So just use brand anchors. In this case, it's, Leslie's pet sitting service or whatever. So super, super simple. Don't do anything spammy. Keep it simple. All right, let's go back to our order. So top 5 best pet sitters in Sarasota is going to be the name of the article. I'm going to order the tier 2 boosting for this one just as a test to see how this kind of compares to these other services, again, as an internal test. But I've already used this God of SEO, Alpha God service. These guys have a serious complex here. It's pretty good. It's pretty good to just build a bunch of cheaper links to get stuff indexed in Google. Okay. But I'm going to do that for this one, but not for the others. Leslie first on the list. Okay. All right. Add to cart. Let's move on to the next one. I don't know what that's from. Hopefully my team is not concurrently building links in here. All right. Number 2, vet help. $66, guys. For $266, I can own a piece of real estate literally in the first page of Google for, my mother-in-law's keyword here. So this is great. Add to cart. Oh, the guest post, I guess, is a little more expensive. That's all right. Copy this. We're going to go over here. Target URL. Again, for this particular one, we're going to use a generic anchor on that. Again, normally, if I had more time, I would just write this article super quickly myself, but I don't have the time. Let's do 8 best Sarasota pet sitters. I'm mixing up the keywords a little bit so that if somebody were to do a search for Sarasota pet sitters in Sarasota, you've got one of these that's going to be maybe marginally more relevant than the others. Let's do 10. All right. And because of the authority of these websites, again, these are like DR60-ish websites, they're going to rank probably with very minimal effort, right? With very minimal backlinks. So you may not even need 150. That's probably overkill for some of these. But you do need to get a couple of links to get these onto the first page. Sometimes they'll rank without any links, but they won't stay there forever. I've got a couple listicles I built years ago that still rank really, really well for clients. All right, last one, Canine Magazine. Guest post for, definitely spending a little more for my mother-in-law today. Merry Christmas to her. But, even though I'm going to be spending about $1,500 when this is all said and done, this will really help her business, right, for potentially years to come. So we're going to do something like that. It's going to look organic. If you think about it, they're going to be like, hey, here's a business, here's a business, here's a business. It's not natural to use something even like the business name necessarily. So we're going to keep it super organic. For this one, we're going to go $75 on the content. Again, pains me to pay that much for this, but it is what it is. All right, let's do last one, top 12 pet sitters in Sarasota. We're going to add Florida this time. You know, for this one, let's go ahead and do Sarasota, Bradenton, and Venice. Maybe we can rank for, whoopsies. Maybe we can rank for a bunch of keywords. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. As you can see, super, super simple. If you are in a hurry, you just proceed to payment from here. $1,400. Again, a little more than what I wanted to spend, but still the value of this is going to be great. All three of these are realistically going to be in the top 20 results. I would imagine 2 out of 3 are going to pop up on the first page of Google, and then all of them link to my mother-in-law's Facebook page. That Facebook page should pop up, I would imagine, in the first or second position. Again, all of this is in 90 days. On top of that, because these are all listicles that ChatGPT loves, they're also likely going to reference her in about 90 days. If they don't, it's because there isn't enough third-party validation. So one of the things I'm going to have my mother-in-law do is create a Google Business profile deal here, so she can get up in the maps right here. She needs one of these. If she had even probably like 10 reviews, which she should be able to get because her business is actually doing pretty well. Maybe it's from that, I don't know. But if there was some sort of third-party validation from a review standpoint, she would rank pretty quickly in ChatGPT with these 3 listicles. But because it's a brand new business and there really isn't any other sites that are talking about her, it may take a little bit longer. ChatGPT may wait until she's got, a handful of reviews here before they put her up. And again, this isn't going to put her in the #1 spot, but as a brand new business, with some effort here, you can still rank in ChatGPT in 90 days. But this is the strategy I would use. And then for all of you who have a website and not a Facebook page that you're promoting, which I would hope is 100% of you, again, put top 5 reasons why somebody should choose you, brag a little bit about your business, use as accurate numbers as you can on your homepage, about page, service pages. Really go above and beyond in talking about your experience and why you believe you're the best possible company, and let ChatGPT do what it does best. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope this helps.